Sparkles, oh my goodness, Elon just gave us all of the answers that we have been asking about. So many questions that we have been having lately, a lot of speculation that we have had. I have come up with a lot of theories and reasons as to why we have been seeing things going on with the stock price, with the company itself, with Elon's behavior. And I'm not going to brag, but a lot of it was just basic human psychology and basic macro environment stuff. And Elon gave us the answers to all of these. So I'm going to go through a lot of these different things. Now, if you guys were on the Twitter space that we just had, Elon was on there, did not really hold back. He literally answered every single question that he could answer. Let us know. And so I'm going to be sharing with you guys right now all of the information that we got from Elon on that Twitter space, answering all of these questions. So, as we can see, the market was clearly paying attention to this because it is up 2% after hours. And so that's a great sign going forward. But with that excitement, I still want to be realistic because as you'll see with the answers that Elon gave us, we're not out of the woods. Just because he gave us the answers doesn't mean we can run to the moon. So I'll break into it right now for you guys. So one of the first things that Elon said was auto demand is down globally. All over the world, it's down. We are in one of those environments where we're heading into a potential recession. That's just what happens. We're getting into that point. The thing when it comes to here in the US, when you are raising interest rates, that in turn is going to make the price of the vehicle over the length of that loan even more expensive. This is exactly what I've been talking about when I was comparing it to the housing market. When you have interest rates going up, it makes the price of that loan that much more expensive. So in turn, the price of houses comes down. So this is exactly what Elon confirmed about the price of vehicles. It's just basic macroeconomics 101. You are going to have interest rates going up. The price of those goods are going to come down. He did not confirm that they are going to be coming down on prices, but he did say that when it comes to the price of the vehicles and demand, if they do need to pull those levers when it comes to bringing demand back up, they will end up doing so. So again, this is something I was predicting might end up happening by the end of 2023. We see the prices coming down. With the price of the incentives that we have going on right now for $7,500, matching that EV tax credit that we are going to be seeing next year, I'm wondering if they're kind of playing this in there to see, and maybe we end up seeing a $7,500 price drop coming next year. But now don't forget, this is something that they're going to end up having to play out. What Elon did say about the Fed rates going up, and it tied into the buyback talk that he was getting into as well, is there's a storm coming. It's a big storm, and Elon is paranoid about this storm. He said it himself. I have been theorizing about this because he's been through that situation when he was back with PayPal. He went through it when he was just starting up with Tesla and SpaceX. He's paranoid. This is why Tesla is so prepared. And as Elon said himself, they're more prepared than almost every other company out there, especially when it comes to manufacturing. They are more prepared to weather this storm than any manufacturing company on the planet. And a lot of that has to do with Elon's paranoia from what he has gone through in the past. So, with all of that said, when we go into next year, when it comes to the buyback, they're just going to be patient and wait to see what the Fed is going to do. So, my two thoughts behind this, with the buyback being delayed or not even being spoken about by the board, were the fact that if they knew Elon was going to sell more, it made no sense whatsoever for them to do a buyback until Elon was done selling. We'll get into that in a minute. The next part was they need to wait until the Fed stops raising rates. As the rates keep on going up, we will continue to see turmoil in the stock market, in the economy, and everything else. So it makes no sense to do a buyback until the Fed stops raising rates. Think about a lot of people who are waiting to buy into the stock market. People who are just sitting there with a stockpile of cash, they're just waiting for the Fed to stop raising rates. It's at that point they're really going to start putting some bigger money into their stock market. That's exactly what I am doing. I'm still dollar cost averaging every single day, but I've been putting a good chunk of cash on the side as well, anticipating these moments to be able to add more. So I did add another share today at 133. Quickly thereafterwards, we fell right down to 123, but I added another $20 on the way down. At this point right now, I am going to be holding and not adding any extra. I might actually increase my daily allowance into this. I'm going to pay attention. I might wait a month before I do that. But when I start to see signs that we are kind of near that bottom, I'm going to start adding even more on a daily basis. Until then, I'm going to be stockpiling that cash, awaiting for this moment. If this is what Tesla is waiting for before they do their buyback, it makes sense for me to wait and do the same exact thing. So, again, I don't want to miss it. Nobody knows what's going to happen. Elon said himself, it's not like he has a direct line to Jerome Powell or any sort of insight whatsoever as to what the Fed is going to be doing. He's just like the rest of us. He has to wait and see what the Fed is going to be doing with the rates. This is what Tesla and the board of directors are doing also. They're really just sitting here and waiting to see what kind of recession we are going to be getting before they make a decision. As Elon said, it's like a ship in a storm. No matter how big and strong your ship is, you might have a great chance of getting through that storm, but you're still going to get battered by the storm and you're going to feel it. This is what's going to happen with Tesla over the next year. They're going to feel the storm. But as Elon said, we are going to have stormy skies, but those storms will pass and we will see sunny skies afterwards. And so then going back to Elon and his sales when it comes to a buyback, Elon confirmed he is not going to be doing any more sales until 2025. He said he can guarantee there will be no sales for the next 18 months. He said there will definitely not be any sales in 2023 under any circumstances. Confirmation from Elon. Obviously, I know people are going to say, well, he told us before that he wasn't going to sell anymore, and then here he did, he came out and sold more. Before, he never gave us a specific time frame. He just said he was done. That was left to interpretation. Some people said that he was done selling. Other people thought that he was done selling for that tranche. Elon has now specifically said no more sales for at least 18 months and definitely none in 2023. So, this is probably a big reason why we saw the stock price go up 2% after hours. So, very awesome news there. And so, going back to the Fed rate, what he was talking about, and he's talking about the deflationary pressures. And there's been some discussions about, is it really deflationary? And he said, from an objective standpoint, in the automotive market, they are already seeing deflationary pressures. And obviously we are seeing that with the incentives that they are giving out. And again, this is a reasoning why I believe we are going to see prices of the vehicles coming down in 2023. So again, he was being specific about the automotive market with the deflationary pressures coming in on an objective basis. But this is what he is seeing. And again, when you look at the automotive market in particular, look at all the other companies that are out there. And somebody brought up the question about, if this was 2018 or 2019, Tesla would be in trouble. Elon said, yeah, we'd be in trouble. And this is why Rivian and Lucid are in real trouble going into 2023. There just happen to be a company that is in the startup mode with a lot of debt, and they don't have the volume in sales coming in behind them right now to be able to make up for that. So it's going to be an extremely challenging year for the two of them. When it comes to legacy auto, they're going to be in a similar situation. Their margins are already very small. This is a big reason why we ended up seeing GM having to get bailed out back in 2008 and 2009, because they just had so much debt and they just had so little margins. In order for them to actually get volumes of vehicles out, they had to take a loss and put themselves into a situation where they went bankrupt and needed to get bailed out. This is what is potentially going to happen in 2023 as well to legacy auto. Ford may be okay. Ford got through it the last time. As you guys know, the only two companies that are out there for automotive that have not filed for bankruptcy are Ford and Tesla. And right now, Ford may be positioned to be able to get through this as well. Don't forget, they've shrunk their company down to their real meat and potatoes type of vehicles that they sell. So this should be okay. Switching over to the EVs is going to make it really tough for them, but we'll see how the year plays out. But again, Tesla being positioned as well as they are to get through this will not be a concern. This goes back to what I have been saying all year long about Tesla getting into next year with a recession, and the fact that Tesla was going to do great regardless of what happens in the economy. But if we do get into a deep recession, Tesla's actually going to do better than everyone else because some people might not even survive. And those who do survive are going to be clinging on for dear life on the other side of this. Meanwhile, Tesla's going to be strong and just to be able to continue running when we come out of this. And so Elon did actually bring it up himself. Somebody had mentioned something about the batteries and how all the materials are going with all of that with costs. And Elon said himself that they have confirmed that they are going to be putting up a lithium refinery in Corpus Christi, Texas. Now, somebody asked about the fact that when it comes to lithium refining, to get through all the regulations, and by the time they get to that point, it's 7 years. Elon said, that's ridiculous. We plan on being at volume production for lithium refining in 2 years. So that puts us at 2024 to 2025. Now, if you guys start putting all the pieces of the puzzle together with me here, what do we have coming out in 2024 according to Elon? We are going to have the robo-taxi coming out, the Cybertruck getting to higher volume, semi-truck at 50,000 per year, and we're having the compact car. Somebody had mentioned the $30,000 vehicle. Elon said the same cookie cutter answer that we've been hearing all year long. It's not the right forum for them to be able to get into that, but he did say that they have the most exciting product lineup in the pipeline of any other automotive maker that's out there. So this tells me basically with confirmation and going back to just basic psychology, it is coming. We have been talking about it all year. I am predicting it coming in 2024. So with the lithium refining being up and running by 2024, and the fact that they are going to have this $30,000 vehicle, which is going to be pushing volumes higher than all of their entire lineup currently together, pushing past all of that, we are going to need that lithium refining. So the timing of all of these pieces getting put together tells me that between 2024 and 2025, we are going to be seeing this $30,000 vehicle and Tesla supplying the own lithium to be getting batteries out there, because the lithium is the piece that's holding them up for batteries. They will then have enough batteries. So don't forget, Elon puts all these things together and he looks long distance and figures out what the bottlenecks are. If lithium was that bottleneck, that means that he is comfortable with them having enough batteries and supply to be able to supply a vehicle of $30,000, which is going to be pushing out massive volumes in 2024 to 2025. Now, another thing that Elon said that he could not answer was the specific location of the next gigafactory. We've had rumors lately that are saying that Mexico is going to be the next place. He said they are going to be announcing it very soon, but he cannot say where that is. And so we will just have to wait and see, but we will hear about this soon enough. And then the question came out about Elon and focusing on Twitter versus Tesla. And Elon said that, the complexity of Tesla is about 10x of that of Twitter. So he's got all the things working out with Twitter right now. He said the first month was high volume of things that they were working on. The second month right now is kind of like medium volume, and it should be like low volume going into next month. So Elon said from the beginning that this was basically going to be a 4-month type project for him to really focus on before kind of stepping aside. That is still on track to where it needs to be. And so going into next year, he will have a management team in place to be running Twitter, and then he'll be focusing more on Tesla where he is needed. But as he said also, he doesn't see that over the last 3 months, there was anything he could have actually contributed to Tesla that could have improved the situation or made it function any better. This is extremely bullish because of the fact that the team and management that they have at Tesla right now is running so well that Elon does not have to be there. We saw that. This is what has been going on. This is what we have been talking about. This is great, great news because, again, when you start looking at that key man risk, that is now basically eliminated. Obviously, we don't want to see Elon leave. He is still the driver of this ship. We want to make sure that he's still there. But when it comes to the actual functioning of the company itself with operations, he does not need to be there. And I think we are going to be hearing about a promotion for Tom Zhu very soon. And I think it's going to be something of that nature that we've been talking about like a director of operations, director of global production, whatever it's going to be, that will be his role. And Elon is just going to be overseeing all the stuff that he has been before and basically being the kind of like lead engineer and top cheerleader for the company. And now also when it comes to Twitter, somebody had brought up how Twitter really should be the main app in the Tesla. This is something we kind of talked about before where I thought this was already on Elon's radar. And it kind of was like a light bulb moment for him. And it's like almost like, I don't know, he didn't think about it. And this kind of goes back to, just the thoughts about Elon and how he saw Twitter. And for him, it wasn't about having Twitter and Tesla come together to work synonymously to grow Tesla. It was more of he was, looking to take Twitter to really kind of help human civilization when it comes to free speech. So that really speaks volumes to that and where his mindset was. But he did say that, for the last 10 years between his account and Tesla's account, they really have used Twitter as a free advertising platform. Between all of us that are on there as well, really promoting all of that, it makes a big difference. And that's what they've been utilizing it for. Now we're actually probably going to see these two get married together, and we will see Twitter as a main app in the Teslas. Elon also did double down on his comment about Tesla becoming the most valuable company in the world. He said he is still very confident that is going to be happening. He said, based upon the macro environment that we are in right now, he's not sure what that value will be, but he is confident that they will be the most valuable company in the world. Somebody had mentioned that he said it was 5 years. I did not hear that part, but I'm not looking at a time frame. I'm just looking at the fact that he is still confident that that is going to happen. And then when talking about some of the more controversial things, like, the things that Elon is tweeting and saying stuff that is really ruffling some feathers that are out there, Elon said himself two things. One, he is not going to suppress his views just to boost the stock price for Tesla. So going over to some of the things that Tesla Q says, where Elon says things just to boost the stock price, clearly Elon is not going to change his political views or his views that he stands on right now just so that we can get the stock price back up. It is what it is. Elon feels the way he feels. He's not going to change that just to get a stock price to look a little bit better. Now, he also did say that when it comes to Twitter, not everyone around the world really cares about his political views. Sometimes we have to remember that when it comes to Twitter, it's not a platform that is being used by the entire world. As a matter of fact, it can kind of be its own little echo chamber at times. Thinking about how many average users are on there, while that number is growing, a lot of times the noise that we are hearing in Twitter really are just on Twitter. If you go outside of there, there's a lot of people who aren't on Twitter. There's a lot of people who don't hear it. Sometimes, sure, maybe the mainstream media is going to pick up what's going on in there. But quite honestly, most of the stuff that's going on in Twitter right now is a lot of bulls that are bickering. That noise of the bulls bickering is starting to spill out into the mainstream media. So realistically, a lot of the bulls stopped bitching about all the stuff that they're bitching about. It wouldn't spill out into mainstream media, and then we wouldn't have all of this going on right now. So sometimes we just have to look at the broader picture, look outside of that echo chamber of Twitter, of Tesla, and really see what's kind of going on everywhere and understand that what's going on in there is really just a small piece of what is truly going on a global scale. And while we are right in it, and because we're power users in there on Twitter, we see it all the time. But when you go outside of there, you don't. Think about us as Tesla lovers. We see Teslas a lot more often than somebody else who isn't paying attention to a Tesla. Again, going back to human psychology, when you're thinking about something, you basically manifest it and it becomes more visible to you. I think about my son when he was little, 3 years old, we're going down the grocery store aisle. Here we are in the soup aisle, and he goes, "Daddy, it's Dora." And I look over and I'm like, "Where the hell do you see Dora, dude?" There was like one soup can that had Dora on it. But as a 3-year-old, Dora was his life at that time. That's what he saw. So again, when we are in this echo chamber on Twitter, that's what we are seeing and hearing all the time. So when we go outside of Twitter and we see and hear it, we think that that is everything that is going on outside, when in reality, we are only seeing it because that's what we're focusing on. There's a lot of people out there that are not focusing on that, and we need to understand that. That's very difficult for sometimes to see because it's so prevalent in our lives. We forget that there's so many other people out there that truly don't give a crap. And then somebody did ask about version 11 and when we will see that. Elon said, hopefully by the end of the year, but it is definitely coming soon. So they've got version 11.2 out right now for limited beta users. Elon said that the one that he is in, it is actually very rare that he has to intervene with the driving right now, but he's thinking that 11.3 is when we will see a more wide release of this, but not a lot of confidence behind that. We will wait and see, but it is coming. And as Elon said, Chuck Cook came on asking about a lot of these edge case scenarios that the system is learning. Elon said those edge case scenarios are great to go through, but what it's truly helping them do is get real world AI up and running. So, yes, they are working on these edge case scenarios, but they're actually getting a lot more benefits out of it on the AI side of things. So, again, you start looking at FSD, full autonomy, and then you start looking at Optimus and where that's going to go. I think we have a lot of surprises that are going to be coming up in the AI side of things a lot sooner than people think. That is just me speculating, but based upon where we're starting to see all of this go, I think once we start to get that snowball rolling with AI, it's going to roll pretty quickly. And Elon did say that going into next year, if we do get into a recession like we saw back in 2008 and 2009, he has a feeling that Warren Buffett is going to be buying a lot of stocks. He didn't say Tesla in particular, but those are the prime times that Warren Buffett would want to buy because everything looks like an amazing value play. You start looking at highly profitable companies selling for extremely low prices, that is prime pickings. That right now to us, looking at Tesla around that $125 mark where it closed today, is a great place to buy. But we may still come down further if the Fed is going to be raising rates further. You have to remember, we still have a lot of money that is in the market. We still have the Fed looking at potentially raising interest rates more. And Elon is saying that, they're not just looking in the rearview mirror, they're looking at videos from the rearview mirror. So he's afraid that they're going to be pushing this too high, too far, and we're really going to hit that deflationary cliff. That is Elon's major concern. This is the reason for a lot of the hesitation on the board, just waiting to see what the Fed is going to do. And so when it comes to us and where the stock prices are going to go, nobody knows for sure, but I can guarantee you they are not going to be going up for good until the Fed stops raising rates and then starts coming down with rates. And then, as Elon said himself, it's what is the rate of speed that they're going to be coming down on the interest rates. Obviously they went up faster than any other time in history. So, what is the speed of which they are going to be coming down with rates to be able to combat what could be a deflationary pressure? These are just the unknowns and uncertain things that we have in the macro environment that we really need to pay attention to. And again, this is the reason why I'm still hoarding a good chunk of cash, but adding every day because any day the Fed can come out and say, "Ooh, you know what? We need to pivot." That'll be the time that the market starts to turn around. And because of the fact that the Fed can just do that at any time, I want to make sure I'm still putting some money in. So I did today hit my 50 share goal for the year. I'm very excited about that. I still have 9 days left, so I'll actually probably end up hitting even more than that by the time we hit the end of the year. But I'm still going to monitor. And I think what's going to end up happening for me is when I do finally see the Fed decide that they are going to be doing a pause on the interest rates, that will be when I end up going up on my daily ads for Tesla. Because right now I'm at $25 a day. Maybe next week, maybe right after we get the delivery and production numbers, maybe I'll go up to 30. But after that, I'm going to wait until I find out what's going on with the Fed. Once I know that we have a pause going on, then I'm going to start adding more because at that point, it's just going to be a matter of time before the Fed ends up pivoting. So that's my current timing right now. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And again, none of it's financial advice, but that's what I am currently going to be waiting on right now before I go heavier into my investments into Tesla. And so then going back to the buybacks, Elon did say that they've basically been deploying capital as fast as they possibly can without being wasteful. So when they're looking at the buybacks for next year, again, they're just waiting to see what the Fed is going to do, but they do intend on doing that because they're going to have a lot of cash. They just want to protect themselves for the moment until they can see what the recession is going to be before they deploy all of that extra cash. So they got that stockpile. They got a lot that they can do with it. So I can guarantee you, as soon as Tesla is comfortable with what they are seeing from the Fed and what type of recession we're going to get, that will determine when we see that buyback. And so Elon's closing comments that he had for everyone was there is stormy weather ahead, but there are going to be sunny skies after the storms pass. So during the storm, that is when you want to plant your seeds. Think about it as a farmer. You go out there and you've got rain that's coming. You want to make sure those seeds are planted so that when the storms and the rain come, it will water those and get all of the crops to grow. This is what we are seeing right now. We want to be planting these seeds. This is why fortunes are born during bear markets. You plant those seeds during stormy weathers so that those plants can grow once the sunny skies come out again. That's my analogy for you guys because that's what I am doing, and this is exactly what history has taught us is you plant your seeds during stormy weathers, you are going to get your crops to grow that much better afterwards. All right, so I know that was a lot of information, but Elon gave us so many awesome answers. So thank you guys for hanging on for this one to get all of this information. If there's anything else out there that maybe I missed on that spaces, please add it in the comments below. Lots of awesome stuff. I just became so much more bullish on this just because Elon was able to reiterate in my mind all of the theories that I had and really confirmed a lot of these thoughts that I was thinking. So now we can see, yes, this is the right path that we are on. Obviously, nobody knows what the timing of this is going to be, but we are still moving in that direction. And I am still going to keep my strategy as it is. Thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate all of your support and feedback. If you have not subscribed, please do so down below. Sign yourself up for notifications. I am over on Twitter at OracleTim1. I share all of the latest Tesla news, pertinent stock market information, and all of my daily trades. We do have a Discord chat. That link is down in the description. And if you'd like to support the channel any further, we do have a membership program and a Patreon. Those links are also in the description. Thank you so much. Have a great one.